Hi, it's me. You can call me BP. Welcome back to my channel. Today, October 17th is when I'm filming this, and we just got a big update in the Rockmond versus Disney COVID-19 vaccine case. Drum roll, please. Rockmond lost. Duh. I know in my first video, I did my best to keep my personal feelings out of it, but in this video, of course he lost. I'm sorry. It was a 4-day trial and a lot of people testified. Rockmond also testified. According to the Variety article that I will link down below in Rockmond's testimony, he was talking about how the COVID vaccine is harmful and against God's teaching. This whole trial was a religious discrimination case. And so he said, quote, "Man created the COVID-19 vaccine to separate you from God. This is a spiritual war. This is a war of evil against good. I stood on the side of good. I stood on the side of God. I stood on the shoulders of God." Yeah. So in this case, it's storming outside. Holy shit. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. Anyway, do you need a cuddle? I think all of it might need a cuddle. Come here. It's okay. I know, big scary storm. I know. Okay, the rain just started to pick up, so I'm sorry if you could hear it in the background. A little ASMR action for you. But the Disney lawyers noted that Rockmond takes synthetic testosterone and this drug that I cannot pronounce, which is to regulate the estrogen production in men, which the Disney lawyers said that it was very contradictory because this drug was taken through a syringe, which anything piercing the skin and injected is considered sacrilegious in Rockmond's alleged giant thunder about to come in. I just watered all of my plants today. Why did I have to do that? Where is my cat? Oh no, I'm cooked. I just called the stray my cat. Where is she? Where is she? I want to show them your face. Show them your concerned face. My sweeties. Okay. In the trial, it seems that Rockmond was saying that he's not perfect, and then the Disney lawyers came back to be like, well, yeah, you're far from perfect. You're taking 37 different medications in your religion that claims that medication is like sacrilegious. Rockmond then would say that he was making $100,000 per episode, even if his character wasn't in the episode, which is crazy. Crazy. And then in his testimony, he would go on to say that since the firing of 911, he struggled to find work. I would also argue that since the firing and the lawsuit, that he'd struggled to find work, but that's just my opinion. He then would say, quote, "I'm underwater. I've spent my entire retirement. This has taken my life into a hole financially that I will never be able to get out of." But he said that he acted on instruction from God not to take the vaccine, and he stands by that. He then would go on to say, quote, "Take my cars, my money, I don't care. You have to leave here with your soul intact." He said, "This is my spiritual test, and I passed." Which, to each their own. To each their own. He then would go on to say that he is not an anti-vaxxer, but then testify that his children have not received any vaccines. So, what would be an anti-vaxxer is my question there. He also would then go on to tell the jury that he believes that the COVID vaccine has killed more people than the actual COVID-19 itself, and that the vaccine was made with aborted fetal cells and contains disease. Rockmond would also testify that 6 foreign objects had been found in the Pfizer vaccine that cannot be identified under a microscope, which I've never heard that claim. I've heard the fetal cells before, but I've never heard the foreign objects of it all. The Disney lawyers had a Dr. Glenn Bronstein, who was the consultant for the company during the pandemic, and he testified that there is no live disease or fetal cells in any of the vaccines. And when he was asked about the foreign objects under the microscope, he called it hogwash. which I think we should start using that phrase more because I don't feel like we use it to its full potential. Scott Street, who is Rockmond's attorney, would then go on to argue that Rockmond's willingness to sacrifice his job underscores the sincerity of his religious views, which he said are no less real for being outside of the mainstream. Quote, "What matters is whether he is true to himself and true to his belief. It doesn't have to be right. There are plenty of beliefs that are right, wrong, kooky. Who cares? What matters is whether you believe them. It's not up to your employer to question your belief." Which is the whole like crux of this lawsuit, is that Disney didn't believe that Rockmond actually didn't like believe in this religion. They just kind of like, oh, you're just choosing to have this religion to not go through with the you know, the vaccine. That's the word I was looking for. In Disney's closing argument, it says that their lawyer said that the company was not there to, quote, judge religion, but they did question whether Rockmond was seeking to pass off his sincere but non-religious oppositions to vaccines as a religious belief. Because it clearly sounds like he's very anti-vaccine, even though he claims he's not an anti-vaxxer, but is the reason that he's an anti-vaxxer because of this belief. If you're following that. The Disney lawyers would also go on to say that Rockmond failed to engage in the interactive process with his employer to accommodate the issue, saying that it would have been potentially resolved more favorably if Rockmond had communicated better. It just kind of seemed like it was a weird. Then there was also a Deadline article about it, which also linked below. In this article, they were saying that Disney unearthed explosive material and discovery that undermined the series of Walter P. Schilling's found... Wait, that's worded weird. This is worded weird, but I think what they're trying to say is that Disney found something talking about the seriousness of the Congregation of Universal Wisdom and the guy who like founded it, if he was actually being serious with it, as well as Dunbar's adherence to keeping chemicals out of your body, because that's one of the main pillars of whatever. But then, unfortunately, this is not correct on Deadlines. It says, for instance, all it takes to join the congregation is a $1 payment to Schilling and a promise to stick with the rules, he said, which is not true. You have to pay like $100. Actually, it's $136. It's not $1. It's more than that. They also claimed that Rockmond was withholding evidence. Rockmond was not so secretly receiving testosterone injections like 8 times a month. And he was also getting other drugs to offset the effects of the testosterone, also delivered by needle and syringe. I kind of want to comment and be like, it actually cost $136, but yeah, that's the update on that, is that he lost, which, to be completely honest with you, I was going to be very, 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 very surprised if he would have won, because it just seemed like, such a reach. Mainly because it didn't seem like he fully adhered to all of it. It fully seems like he adhered to it on the vaccine part, but not everything else. So that's that on that. They fully closed that chapter, and we will see what happens with 911 and Michael's character. I mean, they recast Harry, so what's now stopping them from recasting Michael? Because I could understand why they wouldn't want to recast Michael while this lawsuit is still going, because if Rockmond would have won the lawsuit, then he could have potentially come back to the show, right? You would have had that right, but I don't know. We'll see. It's been a while since I filmed my first video, so I'm not sure if I said this in that video, but I'll say it in this one. From my understanding of the original case paperwork, he was saying that other actors on the show were not vaccinated. They just got exemptions, and he was pissed that he didn't get an exemption. So do with that information as you will. I forgot to film an outro to this video because I filmed this video very late at night. Anyway, what did you think about all of this, in my opinion, nonsense? Do you think that the court made the right decision? Do you think it should have ended up a different way? Do you think they're going to recast Michael? Please tell me all your thoughts and try to be as civil as possible in the comments. Or not. I don't know. It's for the engagement. Anyway, thanks for sticking around with me on this one, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.